Afternoon. Thank you for coming. It's a very small crowd, but it's cozy. It's like family. It's good. And actually, I'm trying to record this, so we'll put it online if someone is interested. So we are going to present this creating a global hub for startup-driven maritime innovation with the launch of the Maritime Startup Ecosystem infographic. Okay. The infographic is something that has been going on for 6 editions now, a year and a half. But before we go into the infographic, I will tell you something about its history. And I start with one slide. It's very dense, but actually I go very quickly through it because someone might not know the background. So this is the background about myself. Let's start talking about myself. So beautiful, talking about yourself. I come from a family of 4 generations of shipfarers. I was on decks, on breezes before even I could talk. I designed and built ports, designed and built ships, and for the last 10 years I've been working with startups. And then finally 2 years ago I realized that the time came for startup-driven innovation to get together with Maritime. And this is why I started Startup World. Startup World, when? 2017, the time was right, finally, for startup-driven maritime innovation. This is, in the background, it's a graphic about the number of startup accelerators, startup programs in maritime that we had, that were both open or closed, and in 2015 there were, we counted, 3 programs, 2016 6 programs, 2017 10 programs, and then boom, 2018 almost 25. In 2017 here, I said the time was right for startup-driven maritime innovation, yet most accelerators programs were still focusing on, they had 2 main, perspectives. One was, let's create return on investment for investors. So, investment-driven accelerators, VC-funded accelerators. On the style of, for example, Y Combinator. This is great. It's a place where investors decide to support startups and find the startups that will become the next unicorn. So, it's a financially driven model. Okay? Another model is corporate innovation. Corporate innovation is accelerators that are sponsored by one company, one corporate, that sort of keeps everything behind walls because they say, we want to find startups that will help us develop our next generation of products, innovation, and so on. So it's in that sense, it's a way for corporates to develop their innovation programs. So again, who is the beneficiary? The main beneficiary is not the startup. Again, is a corporate this time, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad, but my question was, who supports the startups and the industry? And at this time, 2016, 2017, there were very few examples. Okay? And I said, as opposed to just investors and corporates. Because these are the 4 players. But 3 players, let's say, startups, investors, corporates, and the industry that sort of gets everything together. And the question has been for me, who supports the startups? I've been in startups, I've been working in startups for long, and I've always seen that everybody's asking everything from startups. And for startups it's very difficult because they are short of money, and any money they have to put in their growth, not in paying for services that maybe are not particularly important for them. Of course, growth is an important service, but if it can come from outside, from some other institutions that support them, that would be great. A little note, when I say startups, in reality I refer to both startups and scale-ups. I just don't go with the long startups and scale-ups. Startups is everything, including also scale-ups. Okay, so this is why we started. And the first edition, that was October 2017, okay, so time zero, October 2017, we had, it was a pure desk research exercise. So we went out and looked through the internet, which startups come out that are maritime. And at that time it was good because it was the first time that someone did it. But we immediately realized that it's not particularly interesting. I mean, anyone could go out and do it. And what happened is that startups started to reach out to us to be included. So we switched the model and we said, excuse me, we said, let's ask the startups to register to be on the infographic. Okay? And this is this line shows the registrations almost day by day for the last 15 months. And it's almost a straight line. We could say it's exponential, whatever, but it's growing. It's consistently growing. We have almost 200 startups now in the network, and it is growing. And it's growing, I think, for two reasons. One, we are increasing our penetration in the market. So startups recognize that being on the infographic is value for them. But on this, I think, I always say we have the coverage already of 60-70% of the market. Now, what is really happening is that the number of startups is growing, is increasing. The number of startups in maritime is increasing. And I'll get to this in the next slide. Here, just very quickly, what do we ask the startups? We ask startups some information. This is a typical profile that we have on the startup. Here we keep like the suite to recognize them, but we have information that is enough information to be able to match them with searches from industry investors. Okay? So, because we also realize industry is searching for startups. Now, 200 startups, it's easy, you go through the list and you do it yourself. But when it's going to be 1,000 startups, you don't go through the list. You want someone who helps you find and spot the right ones. So, with this profiling, we can spot the startups that are really relevant for one particular search from the industry. Okay? And this is why we suggest startups, even the startups that do not want to be published on the infographic. Strangely enough, there are startups that don't want to be published on the infographic. Okay, it's your strategy. But they can register anyway. They can decide that they are not in the infographic, but they will be in this mapping that then will help us match them with the industry. And another important, interesting point that initially was not relevant, but now after 1 year, more than 1 year, it is, periodically we ask startups to update their profile. So, and after 12 months of inactivity, we want to remove the profile. Because it could be two reasons. They grew and they're so big that they are not interested to be there anymore. Okay, that's fine, great. Or the other is they did not succeed. They failed. So in a way, we are measuring indirectly the success rate of startups. Okay, we can follow them through their development. Now, how do they register? This is, again, data from recently, like a month ago or so. So here we put the age of the startups when they register. Because we asked them, when were you funded, funded? And then we divide it in the different quarters, in the different publications, so different colors, different publications. This is the oldest, this is the last one, the newest. But in general, we see that the pattern is the same. We have 0 to 1 year old. So the first year, we had 47 registrations. 1 to 2 years old, we have 56 registrations. So there are more startups in the second year that register than startups in the first year. Which makes sense. Initially, maybe you're not sure, you don't want to tell the word that you are there, you want to try experiment, so you don't want to go public, but in the second year you want to go public. In the third year, big drop. We have very few startups in the third year that register. Honestly, I can't tell why. I can just measure. But what I see, after 3 years, they do register. So 3 years old or older, they do register. So the reasoning behind this, I think, is immediately you don't want to let the world know that you're there because you might fail, you don't want to get bad press. Here you think that you know it all and you are off for a great growth, but then when you're growing, you realize that you need the support, you need to be known by the world. Okay, so with this, this is going back actually to 2 slides ago. I said the market for innovation in startups boomed in like 2013, 2014. So these are, of all the startups that we have on the network, this is the year when the startup was launched, not the year when they registered. It's the year when they launched. Okay? And we see that there are very few till 2013, with a peak in 2011 for some reason. Might be because after the crisis there were more startups because people had to find ways to find a living, I don't know. But so very, very low. And then from 2013, the typical exponential curve, which is the hockey stick curve. But actually, this is not a projection. This is true. This is fact. This is what we have to read. And this tells us that really in 2014 to 2015, it really picked up and grew. And we have now in 2017 have 105 startups of the total almost 200 were founded in 2017. Now the question is, why 2018 there are so few? And actually the reason is, the slide before we said, first year they don't register. So our assumption is that there are startups here that didn't register yet. And so this makes sense that the growth is effectively more or less exponential. But at least it is growing, and which is a good sign for the market, because it means that now we are really getting to somewhere. And here is how we see how the startups are split on the globe. And we have basically 4 big hubs. There is US, UK, Holland, and Germany, with approximately 20 each. And then other large hubs in Singapore, India, Israel, and smaller Finland, Denmark, and France. Now, very carefully, this reflects our ability to reach out. I'm sure that here in China and so in Far East and Southeast Asia, there are more startups than just 11. I'm sure. The problem is that our network, my personal network on LinkedIn, is more centered here. So this is a skew that's by nature we introduced by being for how our network is big. But we are expanding our network. In fact, now, just yesterday we signed an agreement, MOU, with InnoSpace from Shanghai. We have an agreement with MSE Q1. We have an agreement also with New York, MSE. So slowly we are expanding our network's reach, and we expect that more and more startups will join like this network. So this skewed picture will hopefully get more even out. Okay. So this is the infographic. It changes. It's always a container carrier. It's not because containers are particularly important in maritime. All the world thinks that maritime. But first, all the world. 90% of the world doesn't know about shipping. You tell anyone in the street, you say, oh, you know, ships, oh, this thing like love boat. No, it's not love boat. It's everything you have on you. It traveled on a ship for 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Because you think the computer is made of 100 different parts, and the 100 different parts travel on a ship to get to the factory where it was assembled, then it goes to your place. But the 100 parts that make a computer are composed of another 1,000 parts that also travel on a ship. And say the aluminium case is made of aluminium. And how did the aluminium get there? On a ship, as raw material, as bulk. So it's really every molecule that we have on us traveled over the seas for thousands of miles. But still, okay, containers is easier to put every single startup in a box rather than make it bulk, because I wouldn't know how to put startups in bulk in a bulk carrier. Excuse me. So here we have 168 companies that are featured on the infographic. In the network, we have, as I said, almost 200. There are some startups that don't want to be featured, some startups that we decided we wouldn't feature for various reasons, some that are sort of borderline. Why? Because, well, we have 168 up from 143 in the last edition, so it's 25 more, which is, I think, approximately 20%, 18%, 20% growth, which we are very happy of. And we have an all-new classification where we divided the startup, classified the startups according to this scheme. So it's basically from ship design construction, I design a ship, I own a ship, someone manages the ship, someone runs the operations. It's different, management and operations and maintenance. And then, of course, where do the ships go? Port terminals, and for what? For supply chain, and then services that could be technical, business services, data management services, and safety and security. And so these are the headings for all the sections. What else? Yes, it's a very active ecosystem. As I said, we ask startups to renew their profile. And now over half of the companies in this map updated their profile in the last 3 months. We ask them, we have to ask them. But it's good that they are responsive. And they really, in 1, 2, 3 days, they come back and it's quite a lot of work. You've seen the type of profiling that we have. And new thing this edition. So in last edition we had a list of accelerators, but it was desk research. Again, first time we do something, desk research. It's the easiest way, but we have some value. Now from this edition we asked the accelerators to register something similar to what we asked the startups. Much less information for the moment, but I think that we're going to ask more information. But anyway, so these are the well, we get another slide with better view. Yes. And so these are the accelerators that actually is incubators, accelerators, and catalysts that wanted to be positively and actively decided to be here in infographic. There are some big names that are missing. Someone did not respond. I can't. So we don't pretend to be all comprehensive. There are startups here that are not here because they don't want to be here. Okay, same applies for accelerators. And actually here we might have a long discussion about how accelerators look at their role in the ecosystem. I have two stories that I won't make names, but I think that we should think of the ecosystem as an ecosystem, not as a competitive ground. If we think accelerators should compete among them, I think we are on the wrong track. Because what's the point? Of course, the accelerator, particularly for accelerators that are private, so they need to make money, they need to make profits, they have to think how do I make profits. But this doesn't involve that you think how do I beat the competition, particularly in a world that is so spread out. I mean, an accelerator in France is not particularly dangerous for an accelerator in Singapore. Actually, quite the contrary. There is a lot of value to collaborate and say exchange startups, for example, exchange opportunities of investment from local investors to startups in the other region, for example. And actually, we are exploring this with some accelerators in this map, and we want to bring more accelerators on this journey. Yeah, I think that it's enough. One more slide about investment level. So we also asked the startups to tell us which is their investment level, how much investment they raised so far, and this is in this part here. We have 76 companies out of 168 we have here. 76, that is a bit less than half, do tell us how much did they raise. Some others say, oh no, this is private information, we don't want to share it. Okay, everyone is free to do how they do. And here we have the division of which investment round did they achieve. So we have 30% non or sweet equity, 14% pre-seed, 35% seed, 16% Series A, and 4% Series B and over. And also we asked them, okay, what's your next round? What are you looking for in the next round? What are you looking to invest in the next round? And so we have from 50K, 100K, 200K, $500,000, 1 million, 2 million, and more than 2 million. And this is the number of startups that we have in each of these segments. So I mean, there is a lot of potential for investors to approach these startups. Of course, it's our task to make sure that this is not, pardon in French, rubbish, you know. But that's the value. That's the value that we want to bring to investors to say, look, we help you find this 30, and we can tell you that this 30 startup or whatever, you want to invest $500,000. We help you find this 21, and we tell you these are decent opportunities. I mean, decent. These are real startups. They are not like funny things. And I think that, well, that's all for the presentation. This is the infographic. You can download it. That is get it from stp.wf/get MSE, Maritime Startup Ecosystem. And for startups that want to appear on the infographic, you have to register. So it's again stp.wf/register MSE. But actually, it's in the slide set, so you'll be able to do it. And I think that now we have half an hour, because it was fast. And I will open to discussion, because I think that the number of people here is perfect. The type of person that we have here, I know almost all of you, but also who I don't know. I'm very happy to hear your points and questions. So, question and answers, and particularly, I would like to ask you, so question and answer, and I start with the question. I would like to ask you, in the discussion, what would you like to get as a startup? What would you like to get as a corporate? There are corporates here. what would you like to get as an investor? And of course, as an accelerator, from an exercise like this. These are my questions, but I open to your questions, and let's have a discussion and very happy to. So, please, any questions? Or answers. So if you don't ask me questions, I do ask you these questions. So please, I do point fingers. Say, no, you. What now? Seriously. What do you think that startups, corporates, and investors should get from this infographic? What do you think? Or what do you think in accelerators, of course? Actually, it's skipped, but of course it's all the ecosystem. What do you think? Yes, Mark, please.
I belong to neither of these categories. Yeah.
No. My bad that I didn't put it, but it's obvious.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm curious. The previous slide we mentioned fundraising. So it's about, I do a rough count. It's about 110 startups around that. Yeah. And at various level of funding now.
Yeah.
Have you done some study? Those that were 2 million. Roughly, is there a pattern? Which area have received better funding, and which region has less funding?
Okay. Honestly, no. We didn't do any analysis, any cross-analysis of investment versus region. We can do it, and actually take this as a request of value that we could get from this exercise, of this cross-analysis of regional versus level of investment, and perhaps type of application. Because I'm sure here, actually, I did put it in big, but here we have a division by application of the different startups. The applications are basically the segments here, and it would be interesting to explore, and we can do. It's probably we are starting to get enough data to publish something that is relevant, because with too few data points you can get everything. So now we start to get enough data points probably to do this kind of exercise. So I put this in the list. Actually, it's recorded, so when I listen, I will take note. I don't take note. Yeah. Other questions? Yes, Kenneth, please.
Earlier on, saw New York MSE also doing their hackathon or some challenge. New York.
Yes. Yes.
So I was asking whether whether there would be a global view of what are the various accelerators, what kind of challenge statements they are looking at.
Yeah.
Because I think that will give us a sense across the whole Maritime. What are the focus areas of challenge areas that different parts of the world?
Yes. So I would take the liberty to split your question in 2 parts, which is one is what here could incubator, accelerator, catalyst, but it could be also challenges, for example, or other types of activity. So what are the activities that are the most that happen most often, and that would be would represent what the accelerator community think of the needs of the startups. And this is one analysis that's very interesting. Actually, we said that we would do some kind of segmentation here, but we didn't do it because we would end up with segments of 1, because there are too few players. Okay? But yes, definitely.
And also, I think maybe each of them may also thematic, right? So maybe this year everyone's looking at bunkering because maybe next year there's an urgent need.
Yeah.
Maybe next year it becomes cybersecurity because
Yeah.
maybe 21 there will be some ruling on
Yeah.
cybersecurity. So I think maybe year to year
Might be different. Yeah.
So maybe it's true not to segment.
Yeah. And the second split of the question, I think it's about something that just recently New York did. They created this document with the challenges from the industry, which is something that I think you like recently one did also, like this kind of reverse pitching where the industry tells the startups what we need, you know, and the fact of putting it into a document, I think it's excellent. And actually, in this perspective, one of the activities that we want to do with the startups, with the accelerators in the network, is to collect their inputs about the challenges from their regional corporate partners about what are the troubles or what are the pain points that they want to solve or sort out. And I'm sure that this will give a representation of which are the regional focus of the different regions. Sorry, the local focus of the different regions. So, of course, we know, we could bet that in Singapore, one of the pain points will be on bunkering. Because this is one of the big activities of this port. On some other port, it could be that is transshipment. Okay, also here transshipment. But in some other port, it could be inland logistics. Think about it after. And so on. So, yeah. Please, yes.
So my name is John Hun. I'm from Ocean Freight Exchange. I have a couple comments and then I have some questions as well. So if anyone wants to take the mic from me, let me know. Comment about funding. Because we tried to raise venture capital in Singapore, all across Asia, and we actually went to the United States to raise money. I think that the over $2 million, like a company at the exact same stage in Singapore versus the US, chasing the exact same problem with the exact same team, exact same technology, I would say that the Singaporean company would probably get about a third of the money that an American company would, at a third of the valuation, and the due diligence would take 9 times longer. And I'm not exaggerating there. So the deal flow that the United States venture capital firms see, they have to make decisions between hi, my name is, to money in the bank in about a month. Some pride themselves saying, I can make this decision in less than 2 weeks. And the reason why they have to do that is because if they wait longer than that, the good deals are done and they're out of business themselves. The structure is different here in Singapore, where we're trying to encourage people to go into venture capital. So there was a lot of subsidies for seed stage investors, but there weren't any guidelines on that money that was given to seed stage VC firms. So our encouragement was, when the folks visited from Hamburg, like, if you guys are also going to look at the same kind of incentives, like, it would be great if you guys put guidelines to try to quicken the due diligence process so that the industry gets off the ground. Because the worst thing really for a startup is to be killed on their time. Basically, show me more progress, show me more customers, show me more revenue, and there's not a clear no. So we batch them into yeses, they want to leave, they have money, they want to come in. No's, thank you for telling me no. And then there's a lot of most likely no's, but they keep wasting my time. And I would say that that's the majority of investors here in Singapore. So that's how I would break up the money.
Okay, can you repeat on this? Actually, now it looks like you're blaming Singapore. Actually, it's everything but the US. Because also in Europe, it's the same story. I don't know the ratios. Actually, what I think of ratios when I think of Europe versus the US, it's 1-0 less. So you said 1/3, I say 1/10. But, I mean, it's true. But I think that this is driven by the local financial VC ecosystem. And the US has a great advantage of being a huge market with no barriers. And with a different mindset of like capitalistic mindset. So all these things I think that are needed in any financial ecosystem, be it Singapore, be it Europe, and Europe you split it down in 1,000 different regions, to be able to really jump in on an opportunity rather than say, maybe tomorrow, and that's the problem. And I see the problem, it's the same problem in UK, Italian, Italy, Spain, Germany, whatever. It's maybe it's too risky, And in America, it's too risky. What is this? But not really. Not that they are crazy, but the mindset is different. So just to add, and actually, I would say that I'm confirming what you say. Yeah. Number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to praise Pier 71 on the publicizing of the problem statement, because when we spoke with the folks at even another agency here in Singapore, IMDA, there are other agencies that run similar programs, but you actually cannot, as a visitor to the website, see the corporate names and see what the problems are. And I think that that's a major issue, because if you have to sign up, give up all of your personal details to log in to see what the problem is, you'll lose most startups at that sign-up stage. I think, at least 9 out of 10 are probably not going to sign up to just go and see what it is that I need to then build to get a $5,000 prize, right?
Yeah. I'm checking on number 2. Yes, and this is why we. Oh, sure, no, don't do this. Why we. I'm still here. Sorry. Here. Why we asked the accelerators to register, and when they registered, we were asking them, are you open? No, are you interested in open innovation, or do you want to keep everything secret? And actually, we wanted to segment about this, about these are the secretive guys, and these are the non-secretive guys. And for me, the network, the ecosystem, is made of the non-secretive guys. So it's self-selection, in my opinion. You're secretive, good luck. You're out of the, I mean, you're on island. Well, in Singapore, maybe it's not a good analogy. But you're on an island in the middle of the ocean, okay? Or you are an ecosystem of different, maybe islands, but with bridges, okay? So, and this, our question was about: do you publish the names of the startups that are in your programs? This is even, I would say, it's even crazier. I think from what you say. The accelerators that you are referring to, they don't publish the challenges because they are secretive about this. And what about the accelerators that don't publish the startups? They say, no, we won't tell the word. So what's the value for the startup? But it's not zero. It's the chance, like the roulette. Let's hope that the sponsor will pick us up. If the sponsor doesn't pick us up, bad luck, guys, you lose the roulette. And no one knows about you. And this is horrible. And this is why we really want to talk about an ecosystem where startups are known to the world and challenges are known to the world. And you don't want whoever doesn't want to play with this openness, good luck. I think it's how we can make really this thing fly is by being on the right side of the barrier. And who is on the wrong side? Good for them, bad for them. We don't care. It's not our business. Okay, sorry. You get me.
You're the speaker.
No. Number 3, yes.
Number 3, I think. So there are some in the middle of the ship, right in front of the bridge, that then have a tie to trucking. For example, or have a technology that could probably go to rail or air. This would blow up, I think, if you allow those other ones to come in that tie to those other industries. And also, there's a lot of venture capital activity. I would say of all of the different verticals, like everyone is really hot on logistics right now, but they see trucks, they see rail, they see plane. They don't know about ocean, as you said. But if you were able to bring that together or be a bridge, I think there would be a lot more activity into here. And part of that also is the visibility of who gets investment, who's looking for investment, how much was invested by which kind of investor. I think you could probably add more detail to the questions that you ask these companies who are willing to over 1 night or 3 nights fill something out and send it back to you. Because then what you have is like a Crunchbase.com-like platform where a new startup could go in and say, okay, who in my area of the world is hot? Oh, it's this family that's a billionaire family. I should go after them. And it would save a lot of time there. Also, that billionaire family would be highlighted as like anyone that's interested in this problem that we're really passionate about over the last 4 generations. We want to go after it, so please come and bring all of your new stuff.
Okay, so here I think that there is totally different areas that you're touching. The last one is you say the ecosystem has to grow and have include also other groups. Totally agree. I totally agree. The thing that if you look at the process that we follow in this year and a half. You might see what we are doing, which is we don't go top down. When we started the infographic, we didn't say, oh, here we create a common place, like a place for startups and accelerators and investors to come together. We didn't say it. We let it like come to life when we had the bits and pieces to make it real. We don't want to create an empty box and say, this box does blah, blah, blah. We just have to register. Come on, we register. So, on this line, yes, we want to expand the different types of stakeholders on this ship that probably will not be a ship anymore, will be, I don't know, a platform or something. Now it's not an industry. And where we can show who are the investors, who are the families, who are different stakeholders that are relevant, which are the challenges, and so on. So yes, definitely, we want to do it, but we will not start contacting whatever. The industry will say, do you want to register? I said I would never, ever again ask, do you want to register? Because the answer is 99% is no. What do you want from me? And instead here, they ask us to register, which is slightly different, and it's more powerful. And this is like a lesson but not lesson that we need it, but in general. I mean, it's showing what we think about entrepreneurship, that you have to create the opportunity of what you want to develop. And this was the second. The first one was the first of the third.
The first one was around the trucking and
right, exactly. Yeah.
The ones in the middle, I think type of trucking.
Totally. Yes. It could explode. I'm an area architect, and I decided from the beginning, I might change opinion, but for the moment it's like that. I'm an area architect, so I want to do everything that has some relationship with ships. Right? So the segments that we have here are, other direction, wrong direction. Here. Oh! It's everything about ships, ports, and the supply chain, the sea side of the supply chain. The sea leg, of the supply chain. Port to port, passing through ships. We could touch trucking, yes, but we could also touch, and actually some of several of these accelerators also do touch things that are not specifically maritime, as in ships, but there are more ocean, as in blue economy, as in aquaculture, as in ocean preservation. We thought to expand this map, and there are two problems here. One, the map becomes huge, but okay, we make the logo smaller. But the other thing, it's too dispersed. There are too many different things that are related by the fact that everything is ocean. But I think that this here, Sea Asia, and this kind of profiles is the industries or the segments that use the sea for trade. Okay, so use the sea for trade. We could include it and expand to the land side of the logistics chain, so trucking. But I think that if we include trucking, we have another 3 or 4 ships just of trucking, of trucking startups. You know? So it's a very delicate distinction for us that we don't want to go too broad because then it just explodes. And but I get your point, and for many companies here, it would be interesting to engage with the guys on the land side. We could and should think of it, maybe collaborating with the logistic accelerators rather than being us, the logistic hub. Sorry, the hub of logistics startups. Yeah. So this was like free. Talking about what you suggested. Yeah, Mark.
Can I have a question? Is it okay? So, how many corporates have come to you, and what is the normal discussion like? What do they say they want from you?
No, okay. So, quickly, not many. Well, not many. Not as many as the startups. And I would say the first line is usually, can you do this for free? You know, whatever it is. That's the first line. So it's always difficult. Okay, how do we reframe the discussion so that the question is not, can you do this for free? Because everyone thinks, and this is, for us, it's tricky to define the right business model because everyone, we're talking with different stakeholders, every stakeholder thinks that we are making our money with some other stakeholder. So for that it's free. Then someone else will pay. Okay, let's try and find an arrangement. But this is a bit about joking and fun. But what they ask, my perception of the corporate, not the super developed ones, like the Barcilas that have run programs since 2015 and earlier. But the average, we see that they start looking into maritime. Into maritime in startup-driven innovation. They have no clue, and they don't know who to trust. And this might be a problem because sometimes, instead of going to collaborate with some guys here, they don't even know about these guys or about us, basically. They go to some big brand that is maybe the super expert of accelerators in biotech, say, or whatever other sector, and they ask them to run a program for them. Usually the cost of one program of this is 1 million, so they are happy to spend 1 million on something that they don't know they will get, but at least they feel safe. It will change. It's for us to show that we have some, we as the say startup-driven innovation maritime industry have to bring them to the industry. Mark, you have a question?
Yeah. Follow up on point one just now. It looks like US is quite a favorable place for startup. Now, can you go back to the slide where you show the number of startups in the various countries? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think the figures for US is a bit too low, given all the advantage and the climate.
Yeah.
So any particular reason? Is it because the reach is not there, or is it maritime is not quite?
It's interesting. I think part is reach, but another part is well, this sounds like. Well, this is my judgment, and I cannot say that it's true, 100% true. But how I see it, the US is much more focused on internal logistics than international logistics. Okay, they have the logistics that happens here, that is relevant for them. All the rest, maritime, is not particularly relevant. And they have this double face. It's like saying, when I go to New York, I think, wow, it's the Big Apple is the biggest city, well, not the biggest, but one of the greatest cities in the world. Everything is futuristic and everything. Then you really step in New York. This is not a futuristic city. It is like London as well. I mean, there are very shaky areas, and things and infrastructures. So on one side, US is the place of Silicon Valley where everything flows, like money flows and startups, unicorns and paradise. But then US is also a country that is very big and has its troubles in keeping running. They have troubles with infrastructure, like highway infrastructure. I was reading. They have horrible troubles with this. I said, how can it be? It's a country of cars. Still, they have troubles. So now, back to maritime. I think that reach is not big, so deep, but I think that as a maritime industry, I don't think that the US is so developed as your area. Maybe I would say some areas in Europe. I think this is the reason. Other questions? Or we go for a coffee? If there isn't any other question, I would really thank you for participating actually, because I really like the interactive part, and here you know how to download it. I will publish make a post on LinkedIn with the same details. So, and actually I will ask you, please repost and give the maximum exposure, because the more startups we get here, the more we grow, and the more we grow the ecosystem, which is, I think, the key part that we all want to achieve. Okay, so thank you very much.